This call is being recorded.
What's going on, man? Nothing, bro. Nothing. I'm glad we could get together. You know, you've been a friend of mine for, I'd say, how long? About a year? Couple years?
Couple of years, yeah.
Oh, okay. And one of the most fascinating things about you is we have been talking for a long time, and we're both familiar with the motion picture industry. We're both familiar with Hollywood, but neither one of us, I didn't know that your father was a longtime actor. Your father was Adam Rourke, am I correct?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Well, your father was a well-respected actor who played on Star Trek like back in the 60s. And your father did a movie with Jack Nicholson. Your father, I was so delighted. Your father played in some black cinema movies like Slaughter's Big Ripoff and stuff. Your father was in some, well-respected movies with black actors who were well-respected by the black community. I thought that was so cool, man.
Yeah.
And, you yourself had did some acting when you were growing up. Weren't you in a commercial with the girl from, what TV show was that? Different Strokes?
Yeah.
Hey man, can you turn the volume up on your phone?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. You're gonna have to speak up.
Okay. I'll move my face closer to the phone, but can you hear me?
A little bit better. Can you turn the volume up, perhaps?
It doesn't go any louder.
Okay, because it doesn't sound as loud as it usually does.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay.
Better.
Right.
So you played in some commercials, acting as a child. You were in the Different Strokes with the girl who
Dana Plato.
Huh?
Dana Plato.
Dana Plato?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were telling me about how unfortunately she died. She ended up dead in Vegas, and whatnot. And man, it was so cool talking to you. And I'm just a big movie buff, and we're both researchers. We both like looking into a lot of different stuff. What's your personal take on the Hollywood area?
I'm getting tired of it, but I haven't done any professional like acting work since I was 17 years old.
Since you were 17, and recently they did a film. There was a film shot in your backyard, wasn't it?
Yeah, in my mom's house.
At your mother's house, they shot it. What's the name of the film? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep, like Quentin Tarantino with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. They were up there filming.
Wow, so Quentin Tarantino shot a film in your mother's backyard recently.
Yeah.
You said Al Pacino's in the film.
Yeah, I don't know what part he was. I wasn't up there, but he is, and Burt Reynolds also is in the cast.
That is a Leonardo. Hold on. Now, part of this film was shot in your mother's backyard, and you got Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio. You said Burt. Who else was it?
Kurt Russell, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Now that's some Hollywood muscle right there. To have those.
That's
have that many stars in one film.
That's a serious cast.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see the. I usually don't watch pictures, but I'm gonna have to see the picture. I'm definitely gonna have to see the picture. Have you ever seen any other films being shot recently? Like, when you go out, you're a traveling type of guy. I know. Like when you go out to like Beverly Hills or wherever, do you ever see any other films being shot?
I haven't. No, I haven't. They do a lot of like commercials and TV in my neighborhood, but nothing serious. Nothing.
Right. Right. And you're multicultural. Like you're very familiar with the Hispanic neighborhood in LA, like Echo Park.
Yeah. I was born here in LA, but yesterday I was in Burbank and I was lost for like a few minutes,
They made a movie called My Vida Loca, My Crazy Life, La Vida Loca, My La Vida Loca. I believe that was filmed in Echo Park around the same time as like Blood In, Blood Out, American Me. Famous director James Olmos did that. The same director that did Stand and Deliver. And those are some of my favorite movies. A lot of people don't know the film Blood In, Blood Out. Part of the film was filmed in,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's more of a Chicano. It's famous in the Chicano community. Part of the film was filmed in City Terrace, the famous tree in Blood In, Blood Out. That tree was in the City Terrace in East LA. But there's been some amazing films that have come up of the LA area over the years. Have you been an extra in any films? Like you said, you haven't done any film work since you were 17, but around the age of 17, were you an extra in any film?
No, I've never done extra work. Although I was gonna try to get like $100 a day to be an extra, and try and join the Screen Extras Guild, but I never did it.
Yeah, I had a talent agent in Hollywood years ago. I had a talent agent. Yeah, I had a talent agent. I was trying. Huh?
What was its name?
I forget. It was some little talent scout company. If you go on Google and you type in talent agents, they got millions of them. They're all over the place. From LA to Palm Springs to Lancaster. But
I had a commercial agent for like from 0 to 17 years old who sent me out on just commercial interviews to do commercials, like TV commercials. And then I had a film agent named Dale Garrett who sent me out only on interviews for like movie parts.
Mm-hmm.
But Herb Tannen was my commercial agent, and
right.
they were famous for child actors for TV. And I was in 2 motion pictures, but they were small parts. But the first one was called Rolling Thunder, and that was with Bill Devane and Tommy Lee Jones, who both became big stars.
Okay. No, I think we were getting into that before. You did a film with Tommy Lee Jones. That's the film?
I played Bill Devane's son in the movie.
Okay. And Tommy Lee Jones is one of my favorite actors. I mean, did you ever see that movie, No Country for Old Men?
Never heard of it.
Oh, yeah. I used to. Eyes of Laura Mars. You ever seen Eyes of Laura Mars with Tommy Lee Jones?
No, I haven't heard of that either.
Great 70s movie. Great. The Eyes of Laura Mars. One of the best movies out of the 1970s. That Tommy Lee Jones. Yep.
Okay, that was way before Men in Black, right?
Oh yeah. He was an incredible actor back in the 70s. I grew up watching 60s films and 70s films.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones he played Bill Devane's best friend in Rolling Thunder. And
Okay. Okay.
that was filmed in like 1975,
Okay. Okay.
and in San Antonio before he was even famous.
Right. 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 Now were you looking to get back in to, get back into a movie anytime soon?
No, not for the last 25 years. I haven't even considered it.
Right. Right, right, right. And it's so funny because you can sit on Hollywood Boulevard and you see all these young girls, like 17, 18, young guys, 17, 18, and they don't know where they are, and they just show up and they're like, I want to be in a movie. I want to be a musician. And maybe 50 years ago or 40 years ago, that was ideal, but in today's world, you can get on YouTube and become your own star. Wouldn't
That's
you
right.
agree?
Yes, I do agree, and I think you have the talent to do it.
Oh, thanks, Jordan. Yeah, man, we've been talking for a long time, and you're a really bright, talented guy, and I can definitely see you doing something online, doing some, even if it's a little short presentation. And I don't even get what's going on with some of these studios, because like Universal Studios, they burnt down like 3 or 4 times already.
That's right below my mom's house. I could see Universal Studios from my mom's backyard, and they've changed, quite a bit, but they're still there, and they still have the tour, and they're still
Yeah,
packed with tourists. You
I
know what?
was like,
The other day I was on my bike, and I was going to Hollywood Boulevard and Highland to catch the metro, and I went up the side street to Hollywood Boulevard, right past Hollywood High School, and there was Grauman's Chinese Theater, and it was so packed. That's where, and I saw, you told me about like some person that's dressed in like some kind of like suit, like a gorilla suit or something. And I had never heard of it, but I saw him the other day when I was crossing the street to get the metro on my bicycle. I saw that it's like a big monster looking outfit. Right?
right, right. Yeah, I think I've seen that same guy out there before. They also got the Silver Man, the guy who paints himself in silver.
Yeah,
And
you told me that. I didn't see him. I saw one, but it was crowded. It was like Disneyland right there in the midday, like right around noon,
right,
about a week ago. And it was just
right.
packed. It was like a jungle. I can't see how anyone could, who's not familiar with that area. I don't see how they could even get started.
They did a really good job. Back in the '80s, Hollywood Boulevard, back in like the early '80s. You would remember this. I wasn't even there, but if you go back and you study it, the Boulevard was pretty run down in the late '70s and early '80s, and the people in Hollywood did a tremendous job. The city of Hollywood did a miraculous job uh, bringing the tourist attraction back. I was at Grumman's Theater, and they did a wonderful job at Grumman's Theater. Everything in there, the bathroom is still the same as when Marilyn Monroe was in there. You would think Marilyn Monroe was still there.
Uh-huh. Well, you know what? The 80s, in the 80s, it got really, really run down and was fucked up, and now it's like super clean and like better, I guess better, you could say.
Right.
And cleaner and no like drugs. People selling drugs or doing drugs. Like it wasn't.
They cleaned it up. You're right. They cleaned it up a lot. You don't see the pimps. You don't see the pimps and the hoes out there anymore like you used to see.
That's right.
Right. They used to,
right.
Back in the day, you used to have the old pimps and hoes and stuff, and the dope and stuff out there, and they cleaned it up a lot. They really did a good job. And
they did that. I think them and Scientology together cleaned up like the way it looks, the way Hollywood looks.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Let me ask you this. Now, have you now? Okay, we talked a little bit about how Universal Studios burnt down like 3-4 times over the years, and a lot of the people come to the Hollywood area on Hollywood Boulevard expecting to see a bunch of directors and producers. Most of the filming has been moved out of the area years ago.
Or
like out to the yes, or out of the country.
Yes, so it could be cheaper for the production costs.
Exactly, at cheaper for the production costs. What do you think about the filmmaking going over in India?
Where?
In India.
I didn't even know about that. Is it American companies or is it Indian?
Bollywood?
Yeah,
Indian, I guess.
Yeah, Bollywood.
Bollywood.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that except for it's like Indian musicals, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't really ever pay attention to them, but I've seen that you got more British companies involved with the film industry than you used to have.
More what? What kind of companies?
British companies.
British, yeah.
British companies. And I'm an old school film watcher, like the films your father was in, when Jack Nicholson and your father was in a film with the real Hell's Angels, by the way, and Jack Nicholson. That's the old school Hollywood stuff that I like.
You're a movie buff. You're like my dad was. I'm not that into it, but you're much more knowledgeable about the film industry than I am.
I mean, in a lot of ways, I really appreciate that, but I think in a lot of ways, you're very much more knowledgeable about most people have never even been interviewed to be in a film, and you've done film, so but like old films, like Jive Turkey or Across 110th Street, or that's the type of film I still watch. But the films now have so much computer graphics and special animation. It's like it's like putting man into space just to make a film now.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that, but you're right.
I think there's more money involved with television now. I think I think it used to be the movies, because you remember this, Jordan. Remember back in the day when a movie would come out at the movie theater and it would take a year for it to make it to VHS or film?
Yeah. That would be if the movie was successful, and if it's not,
right,
because it stays in the theaters for like a week and then goes to DVD. If it's not successful.
Yeah, like Aladdin took like 9 months, I think, to get to where I lived at, from Muskegon, Michigan. I think Aladdin took like 9 months to make it from the cinema carousel or the little two theater over on Henry Street. It took like 9 months to make it. It took 9 months for it to make it to VHS. But we have 2 theaters in Muskegon, Michigan. There's like 3 theaters. You got the Getty Drive-In, you got the cinema carousel. Then you have this on Henry Street. There's this little 2 theater place, and I think they're closed now. Years ago, there used to be a movie theater in Muskegon Heights on Broadway. Years ago, like the 80s, 70s. But we would watch a film at the movie theater, usually the cinema carousel, and it'd take about a year, to make its way to VHS. And like you said, if it's not successful, they'll pull it out. But I think usually when they got to Michigan, the films were already very successful. Like, they usually test them out on the West Coast or the East Coast.
Yeah, they do. That's where the movie would open, right?
Right. That's where the movie would open. And when Netflix came out, when all these little websites where you can watch movies for free came out, it reminded me of the musical version of Napster. Remember Napster, where Metallica, remember when Metallica went up against Napster over the film, over the music? And that's what these little movie websites, I used to watch them for free. But going into the theater is like a whole different experience. But they don't even use real film anymore.
Is it all digital?
It's all digital. I remember years ago, I asked back in around 2011, 2012, I asked somebody working at the movie theater, I said, is it still filmed? And he said, we still got film, but this is the last year we're doing it. He said, after this year, we're never using film again.
Yeah.
And that was
I think Quentin Tarantino shot this movie, this last one that he did. I think he used film for it.
Yeah. Well, he's an expert filmmaker.
Right.
He's an expert filmmaker. He's a genius, really. If you look at Pulp Fiction,
Of course.
He's a genius in reality.
He's my favorite.
I still love the From Dusk Till Dawn. That was a really cool vampire horror. I never really seen a vampire movie with that sort of finesse to it. It was so elusive.
No, I've never heard of that. Was that a Quentin Tarantino movie?
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Who was in that?
Quentin Tarantino himself was in it, actually.
Mhm. When did that movie?
This was years ago, man. This was like in the late '90s, I think.
Before
From Dusk Till Dawn came out.
Before Kill Bill?
Before Kill, yeah.
Ooh.
A little bit before Kill Bill.
But after
A little bit before.
After Pulp Fiction?
From Dusk Till Dawn, yeah. I think it was a little bit afterwards, a year or two after Pulp Fiction. I don't want to say on the phone. I don't have a timeline in front of me. I don't want to say and be wrong.
Who was in that?
Kill Bill.
No, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know. I don't know the other. I'm not familiar with the other actors. I just know that Quentin Tarantino himself played a role in the film. Remember they went down to Mexico? And they were like robbing, they were doing store robberies, and they ended up in Mexico, and their vampires were after them and all that stuff.
Yeah, I never heard of it. I'll have to watch that.
Right. Now, let me ask you: do you like horror movies?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you like horror movies?
No. Excuse me. Not particularly. I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like that.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, but as a genre, I'm not really into any specific genre.
That was a really hardcore horror movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I saw that when it first came out in the movie theaters. When I was probably 15 years old when that came out.
Yeah, with Dennis Hopper. Did the film, I think. Yep. That to me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre for horror fans is like right up there with The Exorcism. The Exorcist. Yeah. I'm sorry, I mean The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist is good.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist. Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie.
What about
along with? Huh?
What about The Omen? Do you remember those? There were like 3 of them.
The Omen.
Yeah, and then Damien, The Omen. It was like Gregory Peck and I can't Lee Remick.
Yeah, The Omen. I saw The Omen years ago. I saw The Omen years ago.
That was a scary movie. I'm not.
Yeah. Gregory Peck. What movie was Gregory Peck in that was really good? He wasn't in Cape Fear, was he? The original Cape Fear?
Probably. I don't even know that movie.
No, that's Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum was in the first Cape Fear. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But Gregory Peck might have been the detective in the movie or something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. But yeah, Gregory Peck was in The Omen. Did you see all 3 of The Omen? Or all 4 of them?
Yeah, I remember this, the first one for sure that I saw in the movie theater, and that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Man, there was speaking of Robert Mitchum, I saw the Robert Mitchum. You ever seen that movie with Robert Mitchum where they were all bootleggers? What's it called? Tobacco. I think it was called Tobacco Road, if I'm correct.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was about a family of bootleggers in the Deep South, and the government basically was trying to run them out of the bootlegging business, and Robert Mitchum stood up. Robert Mitchum stood up to the establishment, and they were chasing them all over the place. I think it's called Tobacco Road. I might be wrong.
Was it about prohibition?
No, Thunder Road. I'm sorry. The name of the film is Thunder Road. But yeah, it's about the prohibition. Thunder Road. Yep. It was about bootlegging, moonshining.
Yeah. My grandfather got arrested and went to prison for like a few years for bootlegging. My great grandfather.
Your great grandfather got arrested for what?
For bootlegging, like in whatever.
Oh, your
1920.
Your grandfather. Really, your great grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather's father, who I never met.
Wow. Did he go to the penitentiary or?
Yeah, he went to a federal penitentiary in Arkansas for a few years.
Yeah. Yep, bootlegging. Wow, Jordan, you got some stories. Now, this is up to you. I'm not going to put you on the spot, and if you don't want to, I totally, completely get it. You did some time. Well, you had the opportunity to come across Harry O.
Yeah, I know what he looks like. We never spoke, but I saw him daily. I saw him every day for like 6 months.
Right. And I believe Harry O. wrote the script for Denzel Washington on one of Denzel Washington's original plays on Broadway.
Is that true?
Yeah. And Harry O. Goes back, of course, to the beginning of Death Row Records with none other than Suge Knight.
Yeah. No. I watched a 2-hour documentary on Freeway Ricky Ross the other day. Now,
did you?
Yeah. Were they connected?
I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask, brother. I don't know too much about Rick Ross other than I've seen him in an interview a couple of years ago.
With Joe Rogan?
I just know that he was accused of being a major dope dealer, back in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And whether him or Harry O know each other, I have no idea.
I bet you Harry O was probably different and worked separately from Ricky Ross, and I think Harry O was probably a little older than Ricky Ross. Start before Ricky Ross. And
I think so too. Harry O was a little bit, he wasn't that older, but I think back in the 80s he was even older back then,
Yeah, well, older and before Ricky Ross. I think Harry O was dealing in powder cocaine, and Ricky Ross was dealing with selling rock cocaine in LA. That was already rocked up. But they both made a lot of money.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know too much about either gentleman, but it would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, I'm sure that. Well, I'm not sure, but I would guess that they know who each other are. Ricky Ross is obviously a free man. I don't know about Michael Harris is Harry O.
Right. Yeah, congratulations for Mr. Ross. I'm glad he's out. Yeah, and Harry O. Hopefully he gets out too. Hopefully he's out too. Have you ever seen the film New Jack City?
No, I remember when it came out because I remember the title, but I never saw it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, was that about dealing rocks, a few?
Yeah. That was a film with Wesley Snipes when they had the little Carter.
Yeah, and who else? There was Ice Cube or no?
Ice-T was in the film.
Oh, he was?
Ice-T. Yeah. Ice-T was in New Jack City. And the funny thing about New Jack City is the opening sounds just like one of the NWA songs when they open up.
Really? What song? Straight Outta Compton?
I forget. Yeah, Straight Outta Compton sounds just like the little
intro to the movie.
yeah, the intro, the instrumental coming in through the intro, the way they did it sounds just like the NWA, Straight Outta Compton or whatever. There's a video online where it shows the 9 crazy things about New Jack City you don't know, and it showed that in the beginning, how it sounded just like NWA. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes was in that with Ice-T.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes was in that picture with Ice-T, and I like Ice-T. Ice-T did one of the things I liked about Ice-T. He did that documentary about the pimps, the Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Never heard of it. Pimps what?
Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Okay, that's what it was called. That was the name of it.
Yep, that's the name of the documentary, Pimps Up, Hoes Down, where they got Pimpin' Ken from Chicago. Of course, the Archbishop Don Magic Wand from Chicago, and these were a lot of these guys were pimps from the 70s that went to the players' balls and all that stuff. And I like how those pimps had those nice gator shoes and all that stuff. And Ice-T was in the Pimp documentary. Then he was in some other documentaries, like, what was it in? Ice-T did a few Pimp documentaries that I watched it around back in the 90s. They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Ice-T.
Yeah, he's a good actor and a good musician and successful.
Yeah, then he did the soundtrack to the movie Colors.
Yeah.
Cut where they had the crip whistle in the song with the birds. They go Colors. That I remember Ice-T used to come out with some really good stuff. Yeah. But now let me ask you this. Huh? Oh, go ahead. What do you say?
I was gonna say Ice-T purchased my friend's house that I had been to. That's just a beautiful bitchin' house up above Sunset Boulevard, up above the Roxy. And Ice-T purchased that house like 10 years ago from I had been in the house with my friend because my friend's friend lived there, and it was such a beautiful house. Yeah, or actually, my friend had bought it from Ice-T. Ice-T had owned it before my friend. So I guess T upgraded, but that was such a beautiful house. It had an indoor swimming pool and indoor jacuzzi and music studio, like soundproof walls.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you were telling me about that. Yeah. I got a friend of mine. Who we're acquaintances. I was speaking with him. You're going to be familiar with him, Stephen Shellen. You know Stephen Shellen too, don't you?
Yeah, well, I spoke to him on the phone, a few times. I don't know him. I've never met him.
Yeah. I was talking to him. He was really cool, man. And the thing I liked about Stephen Shellen is he did the film Stepfather back with Terry O'Quinn. And they had a sister film called Black Widow, which I think the same filmmakers made both the films.
And he played the killer with the knife, right? Is that what you told me?
Yeah. He played in the first Stepfather. He played the brother of the woman who got killed, and he was trying to track down his sister's killers, and his sister's killer, and he tracked down. Terry O'Quinn played the part of the killer, and the guy changes his name and picks new families, and he ends up butchering them. But what I liked about the film was Terry O'Quinn in the film. You can see he was taking the little dolly back and forth, and this was a Canadian film. I wonder if Stephen Shellen knows Jim Carrey or Dan Aykroyd. They're all from Canada, hell. But Terry O'Quinn takes the little dolly from Canada back from Washington or whatever in the film, and the movie Black Widow had the same part, where instead of a man, it was a woman killing her husband to get money and whatnot from. I'm going to send you some links to the film. They're older films, But they were some really good, cool films, you know.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time you spoke to Stephen Sheldon?
Oh, this has been a while. Hell, this was a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I spoke with him, and I think he's working. I was going over his website not long ago. He was working on some new experimental film that looked pretty cool. You know, that's what, you know what, Jordan, I was going to say, now that you're getting your webcam together,
Mm-hmm.
you might be able to put together
What?
your own film.
You and me. I want you to help me with it.
Yeah, me and you. You got, no, yeah, that sounds really cool. We could put together, you know, at least a demo film, you know, 10, 15 minute, 20-minute film or something. But
Yep.
we'll definitely come back. Well, how about we take a look at that and work at that, and we can come back in the future.
Okay.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was gonna say I got my. I want you to help me work my video camera. So can you call me back and do that after we're done here?
Definitely. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you right back, and then we'll do whatever we got to do. You know, it should be. It's not gonna be that hard. You know, putting up a webcam isn't that difficult. You know.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get through it. Now, let me ask you, before we get off the phone,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to leave people with, do you have any films, like, are there any films that are out in theaters right now that you recommend? Or do you have a favorite actor that's coming out in a film soon? Or anything you want to leave us with?
I don't, because I haven't been to the movie theaters in 20 years, because I don't like movies that are being done recently, but I haven't seen them, so I really can't say that, and I can't afford to see them, so I don't have any favorites. So I don't know of any recently, and that's the last 20 years.
Mm.
How about
Okay.
you? Except for Kill Bill, those are my favorite movies.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm very interested in the movie you were. Oh, Once Upon a Time in America. That sounds like a good film. I want to see that film. I'm gonna get a ticket for it. But
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, I would encourage people to make their own. I would encourage more people to make their own films. You know, in today's world, we got these little phones where we can record everything we want. I would encourage people to go out and make their own films.
Yeah, I assume they're doing that, you know, because there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. Your videos, in fact, are brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I mean that. What?
Right on.
Oh.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Right on. We'll just take this up at another time, and we'll get off the phone, and then I'll call you right back in like 2 minutes, and we'll work on the webcam thing.
All right. Cool. Thank you then.
Okay, Jordan. Thanks so much for coming on.
Okay. Have a good day, bro.
You too.